It's Christine here. Thought I'd do a bit of a different Facebook Live today. Haven't done one in a while, been a little busy. So I was having a discussion the other day with a business colleague, and she mentioned her kids were really hyped up after having been given treats at school. And she was like, what can I do about that? So it got me thinking that maybe others would be in that same school and have that challenge, so to speak, or that school of thought of what can I do? So we tend not to have too much of this in our household anymore because our kids don't actually get too many food treats, thankfully. Change of age, and they can metabolize it a bit better now after all these years of eating clean food, but there are still some things that will hype them up and all that. So what do? We use some topical magnesium typically. So I'm going to talk about two different forms of helping your kids and you if you're feeling really overstimulated or just not feeling right after something you've eaten. This really goes back to my early days of food intolerance work and working out what our kids reacted to way back when, it feels like back in late 2012 and early 2013. So one of the first things that I actually ever started doing to help my then baby breastfed daughter to sleep better and reduce reactions was to use magnesium oil on my feet. So I have these two products. This is a little 125ml bottle and this is a 250ml bottle. Now, if you're in another country other than Australia, you'll be able to get an equivalent of these in your area, I'm sure. So magnesium oil is just magnesium chloride dissolved in water. It is not actually a true oil and it will absorb into your skin. It can feel a little tacky for a while. It does tend to not fully disappear like you might expect, but amazing to help the body relax. If you get leg cramps or restless legs, it can sometimes be a big helper as well, just as a side note. But when you've got kids who are really hyped up or just need to calm in general, whether it's from school source or some other source of hyperstimulation or food or environmental, so what you would do is try and have as calming of an evening as you can. Get them to have a bath, maybe might help them to relax. Lights down, not TV or stimulating things if you can. Read a book with them. I guess this all depends on age, but especially for the littler ones. And what you can also do is then, before they go to bed, especially for Australians where it's coming to this time of year where it's a bit cooler, put a spray, depending on the age of the child. One spray might be enough on each foot, and then put a pair of socks on and they're done. They don't need heaps. Obviously, as they get bigger, they may benefit from more, but if you're just starting out, just start with one or maybe two sprays per foot. That's it. And on the soles of their feet is much less likely to get them itchy or irritated. Whereas if you put it, say, on their tummy or on their legs as a whole and they're not used to it, it can get a bit irritating. So you're least likely to cause that if you just put it on the soles of their feet, and especially while they're starting. Now, I can put this anywhere in my body and I don't get itchy, whereas I do remember back in the day that it would cause my feet to get sort of peeling and itchy. My legs to get peeling and itchy, and the soles of my feet were the only place I could begin. So that's option one. Magnesium oil or magnesium lotions, creams, that sort of thing. Now, the other thing that you can do is you can pop that into the bath, or an easier way. These are products that I will soon be adding to my shop. They're not visible yet, but they will be very soon. So, has anyone ever used Epsom salts in the bath? These, for most kids and adults, will help after a food reaction. So I would do a cup of those, and there's actually a little trick that I'll tell you in a minute which might help with the effectivity, but we'll just start with the mag to begin with. I'll grab this one ready in a moment. The other one is magnesium chloride flakes. So like I mentioned it's just not quite tall enough on the desk. within the spray. This spray is made up of putting some of these flakes into a bottle and putting some clean, probably distilled water in there and dissolve it, and that's it. So if you want either a budget option or an easy way to put it in the actual bath is mag chloride flakes. And again, just around about a cup of that in a fairly full bath. If you only half fill your bath, you might only even start with half a cup to begin with and see how the kids go. But this will generally help calm the body out of reactions, or one of these sources of magnesium, either Epsom salts, which is magnesium sulfate, or the mag flakes, which is mag chloride, and see how you go. Now, if you haven't used Epsom salts before with the kids and you find it actually stimulates them at all, then just a mental note to self, maybe try the other type. Most of the time Epsom salts are fine, but there is a small part of the population where it can be stimulating. So I mentioned a little booster before. What you can do, and what I generally recommend, is actually getting some quality borax. And yes, you may have heard of this to make slime and all that sort of stuff. It's actually borax is boron, and boron is a very important component for us for hormonal related things, for calcium and magnesium to work optimally. And Morley and I have discussed many a time that we suspect that boron helps in iron metabolism directly as well, or at least it definitely does indirectly. So borax, in just a little sprinkle of it in the bath with either your mag flakes or your Epsom salts. The reverse thing gets me each time. This combination, in addition to some bicarb soda or sodium bicarbonate, depending on where you are, or baking soda in the US, that can really make a big difference to how the results that you get in the end. So if you've got any questions about anything that I've shared here, I should have said this from the beginning, but anyway, if you're watching this now, please feel free to ask away. If you watch it as a replay, please feel free to put a hashtag replay and ask any questions that you may have at that time. If anyone is interested in a link to some more general magnesium information as far as recipes and how to introduce magnesium, please let me know in the comments and I'll come back and add it in. If you are interested in getting any of the products that I've told you about, I can add the comment to a comment with the link to my shop. But generally speaking, happy to help. I've been there and done that with kids reacting from foods. Maybe not so much, again, not so much from school, because often our journey started when our kids were very early in their schooling, so they weren't given a lot there, but giving food treats seems to be quite a common thing, unfortunately. Yes, thank you, Shanae. I will absolutely add a link. Now I'll just wrestle around this. This link I have straight away. That's to the shop, but I will make sure that I get the links to the other, the specific products as they're available. And for the sprays, they're available now, and for these other products, I'm hoping to get them up on the website over this weekend coming. All right, well, thank you, Shanae, for commenting. Thank you for anyone else who has been here and watched or is coming later. I can see that there's a third comment and I can't see what it is, so my apologies. I know that Shanae has commented, but I can't see all of them, I don't think. The joys of Facebook misbehaving sometimes. Sorry. Thank you very much for tuning in and taking the time to pop by and watch this video. I look forward to chatting with you soon. Thanks. Bye.